Good afternoon, guys, and thank you for attending the Fire Instructor 1 course I will be putting on today. My name is Reginald Jackson. I'm a firefighter paramedic with the Woodlands Fire Department. I've been involved with the fire service now going on about 5 years. Um, so again, welcome to the class. Um, right now, I'd like to uh, take the time out to clear up some classroom management rules. First of all, if there is a fire drill or a emergency call that takes place, I want you guys to exit to the left here of the classroom, and we'll resume once we get back into the station. But without further ado, let's get started. So today's lesson plan is going to take place covering how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Super simple skill, but nevertheless could be done wrong if you don't follow the directions correctly. And by following directions, I simply mean, you know, just listening to the step-by-step process, making sure you understand the step-by-step process, and ultimately being able to demonstrate what you've heard and what you saw, and being able to demonstrate it on your own. Now, this is a super uh, old classic sandwich that's been around for decades. I can remember when my grandmother taught me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I was a little bit younger than the group that I'm teaching here today, but I had the pleasure to have a hand-over-hand skillful person show me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And there's not one way that you can do the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I know certain people have their tricks to the trade and how they prefer to do it, but there's multiple ways to do it. But there are some things that you don't want to do, and I plan to cover those things here today with you all. First and foremost, this is going to be an awesome lesson plan. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. Like I said before, it's a sandwich that's been around for decades. And so what I plan to do here today is to simply lay out the things that you're going to need, the things that you're going to want to do prior to making the sandwich, and ultimately, you know, just for you to be able to enjoy it going forward and be able to do it for yourself in times that you may get hungry, or if you want to make this sandwich for your friends down the road, you'll be able to do so. First and foremost, let's talk about hygiene prior to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. As you can see, we have, well, step over to the side. I have gloves here that I chose to bring with me. So when you talk about hygiene, first thing you're gonna want to do is wash your hands. All right, make sure you wash your hands good. Make sure that you clean all of the debris and dirt and germs off of your hands prior to touching any food products. That's number one. Number two, you're gonna want to make sure you have a set of gloves. You don't have to have gloves, but I work in a public setting, and a lot of times that we cook here at the fire station for others, it's optional to wear gloves, but it just shows another level of respect for cleanliness when you're operating around food. So having a set of gloves is not you have to do it, but it's definitely not frowned upon either. So I brought a set of gloves, and so those are the one or two steps that I would say that you want to make sure that you take care of prior to making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, some of the other ingredients that you're going to want to need to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, obviously, you're going to need a plate, right? I have a plate here. I have also napkins here to clean and make sure that you can put your sandwich on if you choose not to use a plate, or you can use it to wipe your hands or wipe your mouth or just clean off your surface, right? I have two silverware utensils here to be of use for making the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I chose to pick two of them for a particular reason. Now remember, I said that there isn't no right or wrong way to make the peanut butter jelly sandwich, but there could be some steps that you can avoid along the way. Prime example, if you were to use one utensil to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, well, you could, there could be some cross contamination going on there with mixing of the ingredients into both of the jars. And, I don't know about you, but that's not something that I would want to see in my refrigerator or in my pantry. Especially if there's going to be other people coming behind you to use these jars or these containers here. So, you could use the peanut butter jar and wipe one off, and then go back and use the same utensil and go into the jelly jar. But I think it's better to have two utensils, one for peanut butter jar, one for the jam. I also have here a loaf of bread, and we'll get into the steps of how to prepare the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the lesson plan that I have prepared here for you today. It's a very simple plan, and so here are the steps. So now, as I stated, now you may think that this is a very easy, and it is a very easy skill to do, but there are some things you just have to make sure that you know how to do it. You got to be clean, as I stated. You got to be careful. You got to listen and pay attention to the steps. And you got to also know how to keep your friends safe. When I say keep your friends safe, I mean be aware that peanut allergies are very prevalent amongst kids. So we're going to also get into that later in the lesson. Just being aware of peanut allergies, some of the things that you may be able to do as young kids to get out in front of it, because it can be a very, very scary thing at some point in time in the process of eating peanut butter. Peanuts could cause a very allergic reaction that could cause a severe experience for a young person. So we don't want that to happen, and if we're able to avoid it, then we want to be able to know what to do, how to do it, and who to tell when these things happen. So before we dive in, we'll talk about the step-to-step process and some really important safety tips. When you talk about safety, I have a butter knife, silverware butter knife. And although this is not one of the sharpest knives in the family, it still could cause some harm or some injury. So I want to be sure to talk about safety when it comes to using a silverware butter knife. You want to make sure that whenever you're not using the silverware butter knife, you put it back in its proper place, which could be just on the table or away out of reach of harm. Just be sure how you handling the knife. You don't want to be just a little lackadaisical with it, or pointing it at someone, or even running and walking very fast with the object in your hand. So let's be sure not to do that when we're using a silverware butter knife. And so those are some of the safety tips that I would say be very care of. I've talked about the ingredients that we need for the actual sandwich, so let's get into the actual steps. Now, the first step you're going to want to do is wash your hands. We've already assumed that we've washed our hands already. The next step, I want to put my gloves on. Okay? Put my gloves on. Okay, now that my gloves are on, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to undo or untwist the loaf of bread and take out 2 slices of bread and place them onto a plate. Here's the bread. I undo the loaf of bread. I took out 2 slices of bread, placed them on the plate. The next step that I'm going to do, I'm going to take the jar of peanut butter and I'm going to remove the cap. Very clear instructions. I'm going to listen to what I've heard and I'm going to proceed to do exactly what I was told. Take the jar of peanut butter, remove the cap. Now that the cap is moved, 4th step is going to take a butter knife and scoop out a reasonable amount to your liking and spread it on the right slice of bread. I'm going to take the butter knife and I'm going to spread it on the right slice of bread. And when spreading this, it's important to spread it crust to crust. So take out the peanut butter. All right, crust to crust. So I will put that utensil down. Next step is to, once that step is complete, now it's time for the jelly. Okay, so I'll put the jelly to the side. And now it's time for this. You will do the same, except for this time you will need a new knife. So I will grab the knife for the jelly now this time. So again, spread the jelly across the crust on the left slice of bread. So I'll take out the jelly. And this time, this is going to go on the left slice of bread. And I would do just the same. I would spread it across from crust to crust. Going back and forth, spreading it crust to crust. Alright, once that's done, place it back down. Put it down like so. Now, I'm going to take the peanut butter lid and close the jar and make sure it is sealed. Peanut butter jar, close the jar, make sure it's sealed. I'm going to take the lid of the jelly and repeat the steps for closing the jar and make sure the lid is sealed. So, seal the jar of jelly as well. Now, I'm going to join both slices of bread with the jelly and peanut butter with contents facing each other together. Take both slices of bread, contents facing each other together, and there you go. Your sandwich has been made. Now, and at this point, this sandwich is ready to be enjoyed for taste. You can simply press down over the top of it. Now, many of you may wonder, are there any other ways that we could eat this sandwich? Does it have to be eaten this way? Absolutely not. You can take your knife, you can simply cut the sandwich down the middle. You can perhaps take one slice and give another to another peer, friend of yours, or you can even save it for later use. You can cut it diagonally, you can even cut it in smaller bites. It can be done to your liking. But I would say that in the event that a child has an allergy to peanuts, some kids, their bodies may not take well to peanuts. And if they touch it or eat it, they can become really sick. And we don't really want that for our friends. And so in the case that happens, I want you to know what it is called and what you're going to do. So number one, that is called a peanut allergy. And here are some things you want to ask a friend before they go and eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Do you have an allergy to peanuts? That could be a simple question you would want to ask someone prior to them eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Don't offer your food to someone unless you know it's safe. Always wash your hands before and after eating. Very important. Don't play with your sandwich or wipe it on stuff. Yes, this does happen. Um, Tell an adult if a friend says that they don't feel good after eating. I think that's very important to note. If a friend comes to you and say, hey, I just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I really don't feel very well. As a matter of fact, I'm itching, I really can't breathe that well. Well, I think it's important for you to go and tell an instructor or an adult or someone to let them know that your friend is not feeling well and that your friend had also eaten a peanut butter jelly sandwich. If someone carries a medicine called an EpiPen, that means that they have a serious allergy. So these are some of the steps and some of the things you're going to want to remember when dealing with someone who has a peanut allergy. All right, guys, awesome. So you guys have learned how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What we're going to do right now is time to roll up our sleeves. It's time to get to work. And I want you guys to try to make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich now and go out and enjoy it just like the rest of the world has. If you guys have any questions at this point or moving forward, feel free to reach out. My phone number is attached in the email, and my name and my contact information. Thank you.